From sibling marriages that kept divine bloodlines pure to servants turned into walking fly traps, and even magical bricks used during childbirth, the ancient Egyptians lived in a world so fascinatingly bizarre, it feels like stepping into an alternate reality. This isn't just history, it's a journey into their most peculiar customs that made perfect sense in their time. Get ready, because today we're exploring the wildest things considered completely normal in the land of the pyramids. Royal incestuous marriages. When you think about the lives of ancient Egyptian royals, one tradition stands out as both surprising and unsettling: incestuous marriage. While the idea feels strange and even shocking today, it had a very different meaning back then. According to Egyptologist Bassam al-Shamma, this wasn't something the average Egyptian practiced. It was a special custom reserved for the royal family, a way to keep their divine status and royal bloodline intact. In ancient Egypt, kings weren't just rulers, they were considered gods on earth. And in their eyes, gods could only marry their equals, which often meant their siblings. For example, Pharaoh Ahmose married two of his sisters as his main wives. Other rulers like Senwosret I and even the famous Cleopatra VII followed this tradition by marrying within their families. But here's the catch. This wasn't something the regular population did during the pharaonic era. It became more common for ordinary people much later, during Roman rule. Even in this unique system, kings weren't limited to just one spouse. Polygamy was a normal part of royal life. King Amenhotep III, for instance, had many wives. Common people were also allowed multiple spouses, but money usually limited them to just one. This created a big difference between how royals and regular Egyptians lived their lives. In the modern world, these practices might feel uncomfortable, but for ancient Egyptians, it wasn't about love. It was about keeping their power, their lineage, and their belief in divine rule alive. These customs may seem odd now, but they made perfect sense in a culture built around their gods and beliefs. But if the royals bent the rules of society to hold on to power, they weren't the only ones breaking boundaries. Let's take a look at a very different tradition. One fueled not by divine beliefs, but by human greed.
Like and subscribe right now, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week.
Tomb robbing epidemic. In ancient Egypt, leaving behind a legacy was everything. But even the grandest tombs weren't safe from thieves who saw them as easy targets for wealth. Tomb robbing was already a big problem as early as the early dynastic period, turning the final resting places of pharaohs into scenes of daring crimes. The issue became so widespread that even King Djoser, who built the first pyramid, added special features to stop thieves from breaking in. By 1110 BCE, a man named Amenhotep, a mason, confessed to robbing tombs on a massive scale. His testimony, recorded in the papyrus Leopold Amherst, exposed a whole network of bribery and corruption that seemed to laugh in the face of Ma'at, the Egyptian principles of truth and order. Some historians believe this rise in tomb robbing happened because people started to lose faith in Ma'at and their religious beliefs. Others argue that greed often overpowers even the strongest faith, especially when treasures like gold, jewels, and priceless items are involved. The Valley of the Kings, where Egypt's most famous tombs are located, became one of the biggest targets. Almost every tomb there was broken within a century of being sealed. Even King Tutankhamun's tomb, which was famously rediscovered in 1922, had already been robbed twice in ancient times. Warnings about curses and punishments written on the walls didn't scare away the robbers. They were willing to risk everything for the treasures inside. Today, historians work like detectives to uncover the stories behind these ancient heists. By studying old records, missing artifacts, and damaged tombs, they piece together how these robberies unfolded. Tomb robbing wasn't just a crime, it became a part of their culture, no matter the risks or consequences. Tomb raiding might have shaken people's faith in religious principles, but the legal system in ancient Egypt tells a very different story. Priests and justice. In ancient Egypt, law and spirituality were deeply connected. Enforcing the rules wasn't just about keeping order. It was seen as a way to carry out the will of the gods. At the heart of this system was the concept of Ma'at. It wasn't just a word, it was a way of life. Ma'at stood for truth, balance, and order, and it shaped every part of Egyptian society, including how justice was served. Priests who were seen as a bridge between humans and gods played a huge role in this process. They didn't just lead religious ceremonies, they also acted as judges. People believed these priests could communicate with the gods, which gave their decisions an air of divine authority. By the time of the New Kingdom, which was around 1550 BCE, oracles became an important part of legal cases. Imagine this. During a trial, priests would carry a statue of a god and interpret its movements as a message from the divine. This dramatic process wasn't just for settling disputes, it was also used for big decisions like planning military strategies. A fascinating example from the Ptolemaic period shows how this mix of religion and law played out. In a trial over a land dispute, 3 priests took charge, alongside a Greek official representing the Ptolemaic administration. This case shows how Egyptian religious traditions blended with Greek-style governance after Alexander the Great's conquest. Despite the Greek influence, the Egyptians stuck to their belief that the gods held the ultimate truth. While ancient Greece became famous for jury trials and democracy, Egypt trusted its priests and their divine insight. This difference highlights how deeply religion was woven into Egyptian life, and how much they believed in seeking justice through the gods. But even with their powerful role, priests couldn't help with every struggle. One of the most vulnerable moments in life was childbirth, and for that, Egyptians turned to magic. Magical birth, bricks. Amid the massive temples and towering pyramids, the daily lives of ancient Egyptian women were full of challenges, and childbirth was one of the toughest. With high risks for both mothers and babies, they turned to a mix of religion and magic to make it through. One of their most important tools, the birth brick. At first glance, it might seem like an ordinary mud brick, but it was anything but simple. Found at Abydos, one of these bricks was beautifully painted with scenes of a mother holding her baby, surrounded by protective deities. Women used these bricks during labor, squatting on them as they prayed to the goddess Meskinnet. Meskinnet, often shown as a brick with a human head, was believed to protect and guide both the mother and the newborn. The birth brick discovered at Abydos was tied to a noblewoman named Renseneb. It was found in a mayor's house, showing how important and respected these items were, especially among the elite. The surface of the brick, worn smooth from repeated use, tells a story of generations relying on it for safe deliveries. Alongside these bricks, magical wands carved with protective images of gods and demons added extra layers of safety. Together, they created a powerful shield against anything that could harm the mother or baby. The Egyptians saw childbirth as a moment just as vulnerable as the sun's rise each day, a time when both needed divine protection. The designs on the birth bricks reflect this idea, showing symbols like the sun god Re as a desert cat, guarded by other figures. These images acted like visual spells, strengthening the prayers and rituals performed during labor. While birth bricks are rare finds today, they were likely a common sight in ancient homes. Silent witnesses to the struggles and triumphs of motherhood remind us of the timeless human desire for protection and comfort during life's most delicate moments. While magical birth bricks offered protection during life's beginnings, another fascinating aspect of ancient Egyptian culture takes us deep into the world of power, privilege, and peculiar practices. Let's now uncover how Egyptian royalty ensured their comfort, even at the expense of their servants. Honey-coated servants. Ancient Egypt's grandeur wasn't just about majestic pyramids or intricate hieroglyphics. It was also about the sheer extravagance of its rulers. Few stories better illustrate this than the peculiar habits of Pharaoh Pepi II, who reigned during the Old Kingdom. Ascending the throne at just 6 years old, Pepi II held power for over 90 years, making his rule one of the longest in recorded history. Known for his eccentricities, one of his most outlandish demands involved his comfort. To combat the constant nuisance of flies, Pepi II had ordered his servants to coat themselves in honey. This bizarre strategy turned his attendants into living fly traps, allowing the young king to enjoy a pest-free environment. This act may seem extreme, but it reflects the lengths to which ancient royalty went to maintain their perceived divine status and comfort. Pepi II's fascination with unique amusements extended beyond his court. He once wrote to Harkhuf, a governor of Aswan, demanding the capture of a dancing pygmy from Nubia to entertain him. The pharaoh's request revealed an obsession with exotic curiosities and showcased the whimsical nature of his reign. While his rule is remembered for its longevity, it also marked the beginning of the Old Kingdom's decline. His peculiar behaviors, along with internal instability, may have contributed to this downfall. Stories like these, however, offer a glimpse into the opulence and idiosyncrasies of ancient Egyptian royalty, leaving us marveling at the blend of extravagance and eccentricity. But Pepi II's peculiar practices are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to ancient Egyptian mysteries. What if there was a guidebook to help navigate life after death? The Book of the Dead. Imagine a world where life after death was filled with perilous trials, divine gatekeepers, and fearsome monsters. For the ancient Egyptians, navigating the afterlife was no simple matter. Enter this Book of the Dead, a collection of magical texts designed to guide souls through the dangers of the underworld and ensure their safe passage to eternal bliss. This extraordinary compendium of spells and incantations, compiled during the 16th century BCE, was not a singular book, but a customizable papyrus scroll. Wealthy individuals would commission these scrolls, complete with vibrant illustrations and spaces to inscribe their names. Some opted for pre-made versions, while others selected specific spells tailored to their needs. The texts served multiple purposes: preserving the body, ensuring access to food and water, and defending against the countless threats lurking in the afterlife. From venomous snakes to armed gods guarding celestial gates, the challenges were both otherworldly and eerily reflective of real-life dangers. Without the right spells, a soul risked enduring horrifying punishments: decapitation, dismemberment, or, worst of all, the dreaded second death. This ultimate annihilation would erase the spirit from existence, denying it any chance of an afterlife. Despite its ominous purpose, the Book of the Dead also offered hope. It promised eternal life to those who mastered its teachings, presenting a vision of the afterlife as a paradise for the righteous. The collection's rich iconography and profound spiritual significance reveal the depth of ancient Egyptian beliefs and their unyielding quest for immortality. Navigating the perils of the afterlife with the Book of the Dead might sound like the ultimate cosmic challenge, but ancient Egyptians didn't stop there. They didn't just map the underworld, they looked to the heavens for answers. And one tomb holds a celestial secret so stunning, it might leave you questioning how they achieved such astronomical precision. Let's uncover the mysteries of the astronomical ceiling of Senenmut's tomb. Astronomical ceiling of Senenmut's tomb. Hidden in the sands of Upper Egypt lies a stunning masterpiece of ancient art, the astronomical ceiling of Senenmut's tomb. Found in Theban tomb number 353, this incredible ceiling isn't just decoration. It's a map of the stars, created thousands of years ago. Senenmut, a trusted royal architect and close advisor to Queen Hatshepsut, built this tomb during the 16th dynasty, around 1479-1458 BCE. Discovered in the 1920s by the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Egyptian expedition, the ceiling gives us a glimpse into how ancient Egyptians viewed the cosmos. The southern panel of this ceiling is a celestial map, showing planets like Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and Venus. But what stands out is Mars, depicted as an empty boat, possibly symbolizing its retrograde motion, something even modern astronomers struggled to explain for centuries. Senenmut's tomb itself is an engineering marvel. Its steep 90-meter stairway leads down to 3 chambers hidden beneath Queen Hatshepsut's mortuary temple. Was this design meant to forever link Senenmut's name with the divine queen? Or was it just a clever way to access better stone? No one knows for sure, adding to the mystery. For the Egyptians, star maps like this weren't just art. They were deeply spiritual. They believed celestial deities influenced daily life, from farming to religious rituals. The ceiling also shows how advanced their understanding of the skies was, long before telescopes existed. Even though the tomb is incomplete and has suffered damage over time, the astronomical ceiling still amazes researchers today. It's a powerful reminder of how much the ancient Egyptians valued the stars and sought to understand the universe. But as breathtaking as Senenmut's starry ceiling is, the Temple of Karnak takes things to a whole new level. Its walls and columns tell stories of power, faith, and the unmatched grandeur of an ancient empire. Temple of Karnak paintings. On the eastern bank of the Nile stands one of ancient Egypt's greatest achievements, the Temple of Karnak. Known as Ipet Izut, or the Chosen of Places, this vast temple complex is a stunning example of the Egyptians' artistic and spiritual brilliance. The history of Karnak spans thousands of years, starting as early as 3400 BCE during the Gurzean period. But its most famous features were built during the New Kingdom, around 1539 to 1075 BCE. Among them is the hypostyle hall, a massive space filled with 134 giant columns, some nearly 80 feet tall. These columns were designed to resemble the marshes from Egyptian creation myths, making visitors feel like they were stepping into a sacred, otherworldly swamp. When sunlight streams through the clear story windows, it creates an awe-inspiring dance of light and shadow. The temple's walls are like pages of a giant stone book, telling stories of military victories, grand rituals, and devotion to gods like Amun-Re, the king of the gods. Vibrant paintings and detailed carvings celebrate everything from Thutmose III's festival scenes to Queen Hatshepsut's towering obelisks. Each image shows how central religion and power were to Egyptian life. Karnak wasn't built all at once. Over centuries, pharaohs added to the temple, each trying to leave their mark. The temple has 10 massive gateways, called pylons, and a maze-like layout that reflects its long history of construction. It's even connected to the Luxor Temple by the famous Avenue of Sphinxes, showing its importance not just as a religious site, but as a symbol of Egypt's strength and devotion. Even though time and nature have worn it down, Karnak still stands as a testament to the greatness of ancient Egypt. Every column, every carving, and every wall tells a story of a civilization that sought to make its legacy last forever. Just when you think the artistic wonders of ancient Egypt couldn't be more captivating, another masterpiece appears, a mural so detailed and full of life that it feels like it's speaking across the ages. Nebamun's lively mural. The tomb of Nebamun, created around 1350 BCE in Thebes, is one of the finest examples of ancient Egyptian art. Nebamun, an accountant for the Temple of Amun, wanted to make sure his name lived on forever. To do that, he commissioned a stunning mural meant to both entertain visitors and preserve his memory for the afterlife. The mural is vibrant and alive, showing Nebamun standing proudly on a reed boat with his wife and daughter. His figure is striking, his skin painted in a pale white, with hints of red, giving him a radiant and almost otherworldly appearance. The scene around him is teeming with life. Fish dart through the water, birds are captured mid-flight, and a playful tabby cat, painted with golden eyes, leaps into action. The details are so precise, you can almost feel the textures of the fur and feathers. One unique feature of the painting is the butterflies fluttering across the scene. They don't serve any religious purpose. They're just there to add beauty. This love of art for art's sake makes the mural stand out. But it's not just about decoration. The painting was meant to remind visitors of Nebamun and keep his memory alive, ensuring he would be remembered and granted a peaceful afterlife. The techniques used to create this masterpiece are just as impressive. Brushes made from palm branches helped bring vivid colors to life, and the artist's skill shines in every stroke. It's more than a painting. It's a glimpse into the splendor of Nebamun's life, preserved for thousands of years. As incredible as this mural is, the next relic takes us beyond art and into a realm of strategy, spirituality, and the mysteries of life itself. Ancient game, Senate. Ancient Egypt wasn't just about art and architecture, it also gave us Senet, a game that was both fun and deeply symbolic. Known as the Game of Death, Senet started as a simple pastime, but later became a powerful symbol of the journey from life to the afterlife. The game board was made up of 30 squares, laid out in 3 rows of 10. Players moved their pieces by rolling sticks or bones, mixing strategy with luck. At its core, Senet was about passing, not just moving across the board, but crossing over from life to the afterlife. In the early days, Senet was just a fun game, but by the Old Kingdom, it became more meaningful, tied to Egyptian beliefs about the soul's journey. In tomb paintings from places like Saqqara and Giza, you can see scenes of people playing Senet, including the dead challenging the living. The board itself became a symbol of the thin line between this world and the next. Some boards were simple, but others had intricate designs, featuring religious symbols alongside the usual markers. By the time of the New Kingdom, Senet was part of rituals honoring the goddess Hathor, celebrating life, death, and rebirth. The game represented the connection between the living and the dead, a reminder that both realms were deeply intertwined. Senet wasn't just a game, it was a tool for navigating the mysteries of existence. It showed the complexity of Egyptian beliefs and how even something as simple as a board game could hold deep meaning. But while the intricate patterns of Senet reveal a window into ancient Egyptian spirituality and leisure, fashion tells an entirely different story. Let's explore how ancient Egyptians expressed their identity through clothing and accessories. Egyptian fashion statements. The heat of the Egyptian sun shaped more than the architecture and lifestyle. It profoundly influenced fashion. In this ancient civilization, clothing served practical purposes, symbolized status, and showcased creativity. The materials and designs were as unique as the culture itself. Children often spent their early years without clothes, embracing the warmth of the climate. Yet, even the youngest Egyptians adorned themselves with jewelry. Bracelets, necklaces, and earrings sparkled on bare skin, reflecting their family's status and love for ornamentation. Footwear was minimal, with most walking barefoot. When shoes were necessary, sandals made of straw sufficed for the average citizen, while the wealthy flaunted sandals crafted from luxurious leather. Linen reigned supreme as the fabric of choice. Woven from flax fibers, it was light, breathable, and perfect for the sweltering temperatures. White linen dominated due to the difficulty of dyeing the fabric, and garments often reflected social distinctions. Men typically wore kilts, which ranged from simple to finely pleated designs for the elite. Women donned long, fitted dresses that occasionally included intricate beadwork. For the wealthy, lighter weight linen was a must, and some dresses featured embellishments like small bells on hems that jingled as they walked. Both genders embraced cosmetics, wigs, and elaborate jewelry. Kohl-lined eyes were not just a beauty statement, but a defense against the harsh sun. Perfume cones of beeswax adorned heads at celebrations, gradually melting to release fragrance. Makeup containers often came in artistic forms, like a swimming woman, merging functionality with elegance. From humble straw sandals to grand beaded gowns, ancient Egyptian fashion was a vivid expression of identity. But there's something even more spectacular hidden in their tombs, the mesmerizing artwork that adorned the final resting place of Ramses VI. The Sixes. Tomb art. The tomb of Ramses VI, nestled in the Valley of the Kings, is a masterpiece of ancient Egyptian artistry. Originally built for Ramses V, his successor, Ramses VI, annexed it, creating a shared legacy between the two pharaohs. Despite its eventual plundering, the tomb remains a treasure trove of symbolic art and insight into Egyptian beliefs about life after death. The walls of this tomb are a visual feast, chronicling the sun god's journey through the underworld, as described in the Book of the Earth. The imagery is both captivating and unsettling. Decapitated enemies of the sun, God kneel around the chamber's base, their bodies twisted and powerless. Black-hued executioners, their presence ominous, ensure these figures remain defeated. Amidst this macabre scene, Ramses VI is depicted communing with various deities. These images illustrate the pharaoh's role as an intermediary between gods and mortals. The tomb also highlights the duality of creation and destruction, with the forces of darkness battling against the promise of dawn. Craftsmanship flourished within these walls. Vibrant colors and meticulous carvings suggest the skill of artisans dedicated to their work, despite a reduced workforce. Even the stars on the tomb's ceiling shimmer with divine symbolism, representing the cosmic order. This tomb also reflects Egypt's political shifts. Ramses VI's reign marked the last Egyptian-led expedition to Sinai's copper mines, hinting at dwindling resources. Yet, the art within his tomb ensured that his legacy would endure, even in death. Ancient Egypt was a land of wonder, where the extraordinary was just a part of everyday life. From divine marriages to celestial maps, these customs give us a glimpse into a world unlike any other. But which of these ancient traditions surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love this dive into history's strangest corners, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an adventure into the past. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.